Good morning, GPAR. Welcome to Coffee Talk. So glad to see so many of you with us here on this Friday morning. We have two great guests with us to talk about some really good things that are important to our association, the state association, and in celebration of Women's History Month. But before we get into today's conversation, two things coming up next week. We have two sessions for you. On Wednesday, Bill McCormick from CK Capital Management is going to be doing a webinar on short sales. So that will be from 9 to 10 on Wednesday, March 26th. Keep an eye on your inbox for registration details about that if you have not already registered for that. And then fast forwarding to 1 week from today, we're going to have Trent Pettis join us for his agreement of sale workshop. It's a great session. It lasts long, I'll tell you. It's 3 hours, but it's chock full of really good stuff. It's highly interactive and is for both the grizzled veteran as well as the newbie. It's a must-see, it's a must-watch, and it's very participatory. So if you're there, Trent's going to want you on camera, and he's going to want your feedback. Because one of the cool things that happens in that session is that not only are you learning from the instructor, you're also learning from fellow realtors. So it's a wonderful opportunity to increase your professionalism and to get a little bit stronger in your game. So we hope you will join us for one or both of those sessions next week. And so here we are today. Let's get into Coffee Talk. Good morning, President Annette.
Good morning. So good morning, everyone. I'm so happy, we get to call this month Women's Month, and we have two great individuals who happen to be women who are serving for us for the state of Pennsylvania. So we're pleased to have PAR officers with us. First, Heather Petrone Shook, and PAR's Treasurer, and Stephanie Biello, PAR's District 1 Vice President. So ladies, thank you so much for joining us. I want to give you a little background on Heather. She has served 2 terms as GPAR president. I think she was also the youngest president we ever had.
I am still,
all right.
still to this day.
And was previously the District 1 Vice President. She also teaches pre-licensing courses and continuing education courses in the Philadelphia area. Stephanie also served 2 terms as president for us at GPAR and has served on PAR's Member Services and Education Foundation Committee, as well as the Legislative Standard Forms and Horizon Committee. So, the dedication is definitely here in Philadelphia. First, let me ask each of you how you got started in real estate and how long have you been in the industry?
Yeah, Steph, you go first.
You want me to go first?
Go for it.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Annette, for having me on Coffee Talk. It's good to be back here. So yeah, I started in 2002, about 23 years ago. It was right after 9/11. And I was working my 9-to-5 job, and I had 3 young children at the time. And it just I couldn't get to them quick enough during that whole, I remember everything that day. And I thought I gotta find something else. So at the time I was coaching volleyball. At that point I was coaching the senior women's Olympic volleyball team. And one of the women was a real estate instructor. And she said, you should get your real estate license. So I did, and I thought, wow, this was easy. And then, just kind of dived into the real estate world and started out in resale and then into new construction. And I love new construction. And now I am an associate broker for Kirkus Sotheby's International Realty. That's kind of like the short and long of it.
I never knew you did volleyball. That's one of my favorite things, but I don't want to get hurt by somebody like you, but maybe we can pull something together with it.
Absolutely.
Madam Heather.
So I was actually born into it. My parents were real estate agents. They started a small independent company in between the birth of my brothers, who are twins, and myself. So I grew up in the office, answering phones, typing contracts. At the time, pasting Polaroid pictures onto appraisal reports. So it's kind of always been around me. And I was licensed the minute I could be able to at 19. So I'm not going to tell you how old I am because I always claim I'm 26, but I've been in the almost 3 decades, almost 3 decades. So you do the math. So, but yeah, I mean, I was born into it. So it's always been something I've been doing.
All right. Do you think this is a hard industry for women to get started in? And what are some of the challenges they face?
How did it get started? No, but Stephanie, you can talk more about this because you actually, what a lot of women face is juggling home
Mhm.
and work-life balance. So
Yeah. I think real estate in general is hard. It's it's not like I was joking around like saying taking the test was easy. That was
right.
the easy part. And I think the challenges women face in real estate as are similar to those in corporate. You know, we are in an industry that is heavily women, but men dominate the C-level roles. But I think if you can, I think changing your mindset with real estate, it's you can make it whatever you want. There's so many different avenues you can go down with real estate. You can do sales, you can do management, you can do investing. And it's really, I think the opportunity is there. And the challenge is just switching that mindset. You know, if you're a CEO of your home, you can be the CEO of your business. You know, you have the skill set to manage a company, you have the skill set to manage a home. And if you just take those skills and apply it to your business, you can overcome some of those challenges.
So when my mom got started, because I can remember from being a child of someone who was in real estate, and when my mom got started, I can tell you, I remember her being at my softball games and my basketball games, and
Mhm.
volunteering at my school for trips, and all the while now realizing what she was also doing, which was running a business while running the family while still being there for us. So to get into it, no. To maintain it, yes, extremely hard
Mhm.
to juggle it all.
Good. So you both have served as presidents for the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors and have gone to become leaders at the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. What inspired you to become leaders at both local and state levels?
So mine was more of a who inspired me. So this person who inspired me is actually she started a company, a women-owned real estate company, one of the largest independents in, Pennsylvania. And her name is Butter O'Donnell or Louise D'Alessandro, whatever, however you knew her or know her. So she
Mhm.
also is a past president of GPAR. And when I first got my license, my own father, who was the broker of our company, would say, I don't know, ask Butter. Butter knows everything. And I can remember listening to Butter, talk about things and talk about real estate and having so much knowledge. And I just wanted to be a sponge. So I don't even know if she knew she was my mentor and that I looked up to her on this pedestal. So for her, she was the reason why I got involved with GPAR. I also wanted to give back because she gave so much to me. She was working for a competitor. She didn't have to. She didn't have to give me information. She didn't have to help me. She didn't have to do any of that, but she did. And I realized that that is what makes our industry grow when we work, together to help each other and not work against each other. So she actually was one of my biggest reasons for where I am today. And then wanting to give back locally and then moving it to statewide. That's what started me.
Good. Many of us love Butter, and I would say that she's
Yes,
a mentor to me and to many. And for those of you who don't know her, you will love her when you meet her because she is an inspirer. So thank you for that, Heather. Stephanie.
very warm person. Yes. I think what inspired me, I have a growth mindset, so I have a thirst to thrive, learn, keep moving forward. And I like to bring everyone along for the ride. So as you progress in your career, and I think as I did in mine, in the leadership, you just start asking questions. You start aligning yourself with people who are on that same mindset, and you just keep moving up those levels. So that's kind of, and yes, there are mentors along the way. I don't think they knew they were mentors of mine, but again, you tend to gravitate towards those type of people, and you learn from them.
Well, I also want to give a shout out because this coffee talk thing would not have happened without Stephanie Biello and Matt Braden coming together and trying to figure. Because Stephanie, what a lot of people, what you need to realize is Stephanie was the COVID president, you know, and hung in there and tried the new challenges on how to keep our members engaged. So that was a brainstorm. So Stephanie, you need to take a round of applause because we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. So you and Matt and the brainstorm of that. So.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's another one of our questions. But I think what you're referring to is when we couldn't practice real estate, right?
Yep. Yeah. When we were shut down and we had to try and figure out how do we still engage with everybody without, you know, without seeing each other, and then how to keep everybody still engaged. So here we are, we're back to meeting in person, we're back to doing things in person, but this coffee talk is still alive and well and still bringing value to our members.
I'm happy to see them move on with the coffee talk. It's like it's a great thing.
I know that was our only connection was through Zoom, which was interesting. We hear a lot of members who don't know what they get for their dues. Heather, I know that one benefit holds a special place for you, standard forms. So what do you say as the former chair of that committee in regards to the standard forms? And can you talk about what goes into creating and updating those forms?
So standard forms does have a huge passion in my heart. And it is not as easy as some people think. It's not like the form just pops out all on its own. It actually goes through committees. It actually starts with ideas, you know, agents just like yourself saying, I wish there was a form for this. And then remember, our forms are statewide. They're not specific to Philadelphia, they're statewide. So the idea goes up to the standard forms feedback panel, and the standard forms feedback panel has representatives from GPAR who, you know, take the information there, as well as you could Stephanie and Matt and everybody else. So once that goes there, the idea then goes to the committee, and the committee discusses, is this something that we should do? Also, at the same time, the forms committee is constantly working, because if we have a change in business, if we have a change in laws, if we have a change in something as simple as a title change that maybe you don't even realize took place, we might have to change and alter the forms for. So that's why it's always important to keep your updated forms and keep updated with the forms. I just have a super passion for it because getting involved in it and being entrenched in every single line that's on there, we take for granted that we just, you know, just fill in some blanks. Well, there's a lot of texture and a lot of content behind those words. So once it gets through committee, then it comes out to everybody here electronically, which is another great thing. Some of you might remember when forms were, you know, had carbon paper in between them. And some of you remember when it was carbon lists. And, you know, most of us got high off a whiteout when you made a mistake and had to go 3 layers, 4 layers deep, you know? So now to have electronic forms, you know, it's amazing. So electronic forms is another part of your benefit for PAR that you get. And, you know, we have electronic signatures now, but if you do have an idea about a form and you have a change or a thought process because something is happening in where you are, it might be happening across the state, bring that to the attention of your District 1 representative at the standard forms feedback, which we can get out to you and post that. If not, bring it to committee members. I see Mark Turner's on here. Mark Turner is one of the committee members at PAR on the standard forms committee. You know, always, I'm not unreachable. You can always drop a line to me too. I have no problem with that, or Stephanie, I'll throw Stephanie under the bus too. As a representative for District 1, which is the greater Philadelphia area, feel free to drop a line. You know, we always are looking for information, what is going to make, you know, something better for you on the forum side.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. And that's a real reason for us being on this call today, is so that people know you have Philadelphia, but we have people within Philadelphia, such as you and Stephanie, that are taking it up to the state level. So I hope that you all are hearing that, know that you are getting notifications through the GPAR office in regards to when the business meetings are happening. So these committees that Heather and Stephanie are talking about, they are there live, where you can come into Harrisburg a day or whatever your schedule allows and really be in on it, because standard forms, that is a very important committee because that's what we're using to serve our consumers. So thank you very much for your time with that stuff. Heather, I'm sorry. It's early in the morning for me. Can
You haven't had all your coffee yet.
No, I haven't. But can you talk about some of the great member benefits that you use in your businesses and what are your favorites?
Number one, if you have not signed up for Just Listed, sign up for Just Listed on the PIR website. That you'll get daily tips, you'll get daily interviews, you'll get daily nuggets. They have Best of Legal Hotline, which then also brings me to Legal Hotline. If you haven't figured it out, you could reach out to the Legal Hotline to bounce some ideas, interpretation, like if you're not understanding something, and they will call you back. Legal Hotline is awesome. Electronic forms. Advocacy also, which Stephanie, I know that's her passion, so I'm going to let her talk about that later on if she wants. But advocacy is another thing. We do Hill Day, we do state advocacy, we do, advocacy with the local city as well. So don't think that PIR is separate from GPAR. When GPAR has a local issue, PIR can also assist GPAR and vice versa. So we're together in this to help. But also something you want to write down is April 15th. So it's tax day. April 15th, Bill Loveland, who is also past president of the Greater Philadelphia Association of Realtors, who is now currently president of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, he is actually going to be talking to Bill Diedman. And that, if you remember, is one of the investigative reporters in the Long Island Divide research. Remember that? Well, he's actually going to do a follow-up. He's going to talk about the different things that had happened after and that took place. So mark that down. That's April 15th. So PAR also does webinars. They don't call them coffee talks, but they are webinars. So write that down, April 15th. And then also May 21st. What realtors should know about 1031 like-kind exchange webinar is going to be taking place with, I think it's Margot McDonald is going to be doing that talk. So what a lot of members don't know is PAR actually was very instrumental in having 1031s recognized, and it has been tremendously helpful for those of us who have used 1031s with our clients. So mark those dates: May 21st, 1031, April 15th, follow up to Long Island Divide.
Very good. Stephanie.
So,
Talk about
everything that
advocacy.
Heather,
That's your,
yeah,
that's
well,
your
advocacy,
thing,
but I also want to say 1031. I mean, that was advocacy, and
Yep.
I was on the legislative committee when we were working on that, and Pennsylvania again was the only state that did not recognize the 1031. So we got that through and recognized on the state level. So yeah, I'm passionate about advocacy, but I just want to go back on talking about some of the partners who also, a benefit. I get that question all the time, like, what do I get for my dues? I'm paying all these dues. And following up on Heather, the forms and DocuSign. She was talking about carbon. If you were, back in the day when you were doing the carbon, like I remember signing agreements of sales on the hood of a car and like write hard, and I had signatures like indented on the hood of my car. But the DocuSign is so easy. The rent spree, if you do any rentals, that's a great thing. Seller Shield, if you want to protect yourself and your clients, Seller Shield is a great one. If you haven't taken a look at this, you can go on, I believe GPAR has it with the services. I don't know what tag it's underneath on their website, but you go under there and look at all the member benefits, and you can sign up for this stuff and just explore. I think they're just great services that we have available to us. So, and as far as the advocacy, I've been involved in the legislative committee. I'm now the vice chair for the public policy up at PAR. And I think that's one of the reasons why I got involved in leadership. It's, the more you understand your business and how it, and I'm not talking about your business, for profit, but as a whole on a higher level, taking a look at issues, opportunities that are affecting our business, you start to see how important advocacy is. And every profession, whether, you know, we're realtors, lawyers, doctors, they all have their organization or an association that has a voice for them. And so our association is the voice, not only just for us, you know, our PAC is what we invest in for our advocates to go and, you know, advocate for us, not just for us, but for our clients and every homeowner. So yeah, I'm passionate about the advocacy, investing in it. We did a lot of work on Real Estate Licensing and Registration Act this year or last year, which kind of came out of Philadelphia, was the wholesaling. So we were instrumental in taking that to the state level. The MCOCA, which is the Municipal Code and Ordinance Compliance Act, you know, we amended that. So municipalities and municipal authorities, they have to abide by these, by MCOCA, when it comes to the use and occupancy. So that was really instrumental in not holding up our transactions for our clients and getting those, you know, to the closing table without any obstacles from them. So, so that's what we've been working on legislative, you know, and some of the benefits.
Thank you very much. And I tell you, the members that are on the call, I hope that the information that you're hearing, your colleagues and your brokers, if you can also share this with them, because it's important for us to all be on the same page in terms of what's going on behind the scenes. And so these ladies, Matt and the staff, not only at GPAR, but also at PAR, they are the ones that really keep this trade association alive for us in Philadelphia. So I really thank you all for that. So I think you talked about the legal hotline. We talked about the electronic forms. Can you tell us about some of PAR's partners and who offers member discounts on their services?
Oh yeah, and Matt, I believe, dropped him in the chat box. You've got Boomtown, Constant Contact, Smart Move, Rent Spree. Stephanie named a couple of them. Office Depot. I mean, if you need some discounts at Office Depot, what else, Steph?
Seller Shield, the
Seller Shield.
Brokerment, Lone Wolf, DocuSign, Dotloop.
Farm insurance. I know there's like, you know, insurance people like Farmers and Pearl. So
Pearl.
Yep.
All right. So
And
I
for
know,
auto and renters insurance too.
I know that PAR President Bill Loveland appointed several task force last year. Can you talk to us about the work that they're doing?
Task forces. So there are actually 3 task forces, and I sit on one with Annette, so very excited about that. We do have a meeting right after this at 10. Don't forget.
Yeah.
So that is the Customer Value Task Force. So, and then we also have the Operational Policies and Efficiencies Task Force, which our very own CEO, Matt Braden, actually sits on too. And customer value is actually, we're going through and evaluating each of the products and services that PIR does offer to members and to the local associations, and deciding, you know, do we need to do anything different with them? Do we need to add anything or take anything away, et cetera? So that's what we're up to on that. And then the Operational Policies Task Force is looking at pathways to continue to operate, but in a more efficient and effective manner, cost effectively. And then the other one is looking at policy changes. And I can't remember for the life of me the actual name of that one. But that's
I want to add our board member, Mark Turner, who I think is on this call. He's also on the Operationals Task Force.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Matt.
Yeah. So there we got Mark and Matt on that, and you and I on the other one. And then I'm sure there's somebody else who I don't know, but thank you so much to it. If you are, I thank you for being on that one too.
Stephanie, do you have anything that you might want to add to that? I think Heather might have named them all.
Yeah.
She covered them all. But I do
Okay.
want to say, like, if you're not familiar with what a task force is, there are committees, and then within those committees, and I don't know what these task force what committees these came out of, but like a topic might come up in a committee meeting, and they might want to take a deeper dive. So they'll assign these task force, and they'll ask different people from different parts of the state to kind of collectively come together and work on a solution or some ideas to move it forward, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
the task force is really where the work, like if you know, can't commit fully to a committee, you know, for a year-long thing, maybe a task force might be might be more your speed, where it's more of a short, like you're working on a task. And once that task is completed, then the committee's done or the task force is done.
yeah, these three actually came by presidential appointment, but there are other task
Mhm.
forces like Stephanie was talking about. Like if you have a passion for standard forms, you can volunteer to be on a task force. And when a task force needs to be formed out of the committee of the standard forms committee, you can be on that task force. So
I think, isn't there like a time of the year for those members of GPAR, they can apply to be on a committee, not the task force, but
yes, an actual
committees.
committee.
Mhm.
Yes, the committee,
Mhm.
the committee that should be coming either. The
I think it's
application should
June.
be already out
I think-
in like the summer, late spring, early summer.
Mhm. Okay, so you all please look out for that if you have an interest, and by all means, come out to a PAR business meeting. I mean, you'll find it very interesting. It's also a great opportunity to network, and I'm a believer in referral business. So I think there's opportunities there. So it's the whole state of Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah,
Um,
so a net
Yeah.
110%. I'm about to close my second deal this year, and that's just from 2025 from a referral from somebody who I met in the halls of PAR.
yep, there you go. I think we did speak a little bit about advocacy, but what was a busy and successful year for PAR as it regards to advocacy?
I definitely think,
Well,
don't you think
yeah,
Macoka, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the
That was
1031.
in the 1031, the wholesaling on
Okay,
the
we stormed the
statewide.
hill, stormed
Yeah,
the hill for that one. That was a great day. That was a
that
great
was a
day.
good one.
That was a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah, so I
I
would
would
say,
say look into Day on the Hill. That's a great
oh
way.
yeah,
You don't have to be a member of any committee. You are a member. This is something we do on a state level, a day. It's called a Day on the Hill. It's coming up in May or June, May or
no, it's
June.
June.
It's June, after the business meetings. And that's another thing.
No,
Go to
it's
the
June
business meetings.
23rd and 4th this year because the business meetings are in May. It's a little confusing. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. But this
Yeah.
is a day you meet with your representatives. We'll have some whatever our initiative or our bills that we're focusing on at that particular time. You'll get the information, and it's really just having a conversation with your elected representatives, senators, Congress, on the state level. It's really, I find we're educating them on, you know, whatever the bill is, and, you know, advocating for our, not only our members, our clients, but all homeowners across the state of Pennsylvania. So, yeah, I think
I want to
it's really interesting.
I want to just add to that. So when we talk about the legislators, we are talking about the House of Representatives and the senators. So we tend to go to the ones I think that are within our own area, right? Am I right about
Yeah,
that?
yes, we would stick to the ones that cover Philadelphia. Yeah,
Yeah. So we got Senator Vincent Hughes, Senator Sharice Street.
we got a lot of them. It's a good
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. So those are great connections. All of PAR and GPAR's successful legislative efforts remind us all how important it is to invest in RPAC. Can you talk about why you invest in RPAC and why others should?
Oh, 110%. I mean, I'm born and raised in Philly. We are a political city. If you don't think we're not, then we got another thing coming. But I get it. Politics. It's the backbone of our existence. And it's not only just state, it's local and federal. It all trickles down. It goes up and back and forth. And I feel if you need to have a voice, you got to be a player in the game. So
Mhm.
110%.
Agree.
I've
Yeah.
been investing in RPAC since day one. And I will continue to climb the ladder in investing in RPAC. I actually have jumped into what they call President's Circle. So I actually, directly contribute to campaigns through that direction. And I would 110%. If you're on the fence about it, give me a call. Give me a call, because a lot of people think it just, if you're here in Philadelphia, the funds go to, the investments go to GPAR, then GPAR can use those funds to raise with local campaigns, et cetera. And now,
Agree. And I'm going to go back to my initial feelings that, you know, every profession has a voice for their profession. Our PAC is that voice of real estate. We've made great inroads on the state level, being part of the legislative committee. You know, when PAR comes to the Hill and we have an issue or we have something we want addressed, they'll listen to us because they understand the power of PAR, GPAR. And when I say PAR, it filters down. It includes all of the local associations, including Philadelphia. So yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
I want to
important.
give a shout. I want to give a shout out to Dave Lombardi and Link, who you know, are taking care of the RPAC here at GPAR. So thank you very much. And I think per what you said, we wouldn't be able to support those legislators if we didn't provide the funding to assist them, because when you're trying to do a campaign, there's a lot of money that's being spent in the background. And so we really want to have those who are going to be supporting our mission and our vision. So thank you very much for that. Ladies, do you have anything else that you might want to add that might be coming up, or goodwill message, anything at all?
always have a goodwill message. You know, you always, I mean, obviously, you must be the change you wish to see in the world, is one of my favorite quotes.
Mhm.
You know, you absolutely need to be. And I mean, listen, we're all out there hustling and bustling, but at the same token, remember to take time for yourself, make time, you know, to, you know, center yourself so that way you can be better for other people. It's always something you need
Agree.
to
Invest in yourself.
do. Mhm.
Put it back
Yeah.
into yourself, your learning, your business. Save your money. Don't buy the bag.
Oh, now wait a minute, I could disagree, because if the bag holds the, you know, bag holds the utilities, it makes you
Buy
feel.
the bag when you can buy the bag.
Yes, buy the bag. That is one thing actually, because so if somebody had asked me a while ago, what would you have done differently if you could do it all over again? And I would have had separate credit cards from day
Yeah.
one, 110%.
Mhm.
It made it,
Separate, yeah, accounts, you
separate
know,
account. It
your
made payments.
taxes, your
Yeah.
operation, your saving,
Oh, it makes it
retirement.
so much easier. Makes it so much
Yep.
easier.
Agree.
Matt, do you have anything out there that questions or anything that someone may have that they want to ask these beautiful women?
So there were some questions about the various member benefits from PAR. I dropped some links there into the chat so you can access that. So the initial page that you go to on the PAR website will just give you some quick little blurbs about each one, but you must log in, because remember, it's a member benefit. So they do not want to go ahead and give access to just, you know, the whole World Wide Web, if you will. So you have to log in. So make sure you log in, and you'll be able to find out more about how to access those various benefits. So that was there in the chat.
Right.
And then also too, Bill Dedman. You know, Bill Dedman joined us back in 2020 because GPAR did some really cool stuff in the midst of the pandemic and the various things that came out of the killing of George Floyd. And so by virtue of that, NAR reached out to us and said, hey, would you like to go ahead and host a webinar with Bill Dedman? So I think we were one of the first associations, if not the first, in which Bill did his presentation on Long Island Divided. So you can see it's a little bit rough because he did it a few months or a year down the road with PAR, and he had his presentation down a little bit tighter. It was definitely a little bit better. So that would be a really good kind of like contextual things to watch. So for when that PAR one comes up down the road, you can kind of see the progression of things. So that was a really cool opportunity for us back in 2020. So I dropped that link into the chat as well.
Okay. Great. And I don't know, Matt, don't we have like I know it's a NAR thing, but don't we have a legislative event that's happening in DC? Is that in
That is
June?
host. That is that is hosted by the National Association of Realtors, in which they are hosting their mid-year legislative meeting. And it's not just legislative, it's also governance. So their board of directors meets 2 times a year. And that will be happening next month.
So,
I'm sorry, May.
so there's actually a question that popped in the chat box. Somebody had said, what benefit or aspect of PAR do you wish that more agents took advantage of or knew more about? I wish agents took more advantage of going up to PAR to the business meetings. I really do.
Agreed.
See what
Agreed.
happens, like what actually happens to get where we are. And on the GPAR side, getting involved in volunteering on local owned committees
Absolutely.
to be the change.
And if you don't know what the business meetings are, it's open to all of you, the members. There are committees that might be closed, but it's a really good opportunity to, there's 2 major ones, which are the backbone of our business, which is the standard forms and the legislative committee. And they block out the time just for those 2 particular meetings because they're so important to our business. So just going up there for the day, just to listen to that is worth the drive for sure.
Or
And
the
then
train.
the
It's
networking.
The train goes
Or
right
the
there.
train.
The train
Yeah.
leaves you right off to Harrisburg. So, and I will listen, you have my word. You come up, you hang out with me. You can hang out with me the whole time.
And she's fun to hang out with.
Be careful what you ask for.
But you got to keep up. You got to keep up with my pace. You got to keep up with my pace, though.
No, we have a good time. I mean, it is so informative, as far as what's going on legislation and just trying to protect us as real estate professionals. And then oftentimes the president, may have a suite, where you can come and have some pretzels or something like that.
Right. But I'm talking, shadow
I'm
me.
being modest.
You can go, I will take you
Yeah.
to every meeting that I go to. I will show you around and then, I'll answer any questions. So if you want to come up, feel free, hit me up.
Great.
100%.
Thank you so much.
And Matt just put in there, they're not open yet. So the next meetings are in May, and they usually open up maybe a week before. And you just register. Everybody has their own login for PAR. So if you go on parealtors.org, I think it is, you need your NERDS number to log in, and you can register for everything in there. You can see the different committees. It'll, explain the committees if you are interested. So,
and your NERDS number is your NRDS number, which is your National Association number. So just in case you're looking for a NERDS is in the candy, it's not that. It's
no.
Well, this has really been a great talk, and we all really appreciate the work that you're doing, because volunteering, you're leaving your businesses to go and make this happen, and you don't just make it happen for yourself, you're making it happen for all of us. And so I'm really happy that you all were able to come on the call this morning. I want the membership to really know, per the beginning question, what are you getting? This is what's happening in the background. And it's a lot of hard work, our local staff as well as our state staff. So I really appreciate you all for joining us this morning. Matt, is there anything that you want to add before we end the call?
No, I just want to say it was a great conversation. So happy to see so many faces here. And please encourage other people within your respective offices to join us on a future coffee talk, or if they can't make it, check out our YouTube channel at Philly Realtors. That's our handle.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
this was
everybody.
great. Happy Women's Month to everyone. So thank you again, and enjoy your day and the weekend.
Thank
And make a
you.
lot of money. Make a lot of money.